Hey y'all, I'm so sorry. We had to start this live over 3 times. So you know what that means. It's going to be a fabulous interview with Rudist, the producer from the UK. Let's get him in here now. And if you're watching this replay, please go to my YouTube under Speak Your Mind Radio and subscribe to my channel for more great interviews. Thank you so much. Okay. Can everybody hear me? What the heck?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
but it's still low, but I'm gonna make do.
That's just too weird, huh?
That is weird as heck.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why. It's the same as earlier when we had it earlier. It's fine.
Well, I'm gonna have to work my ears, so
Hello.
okay. Can everybody out there hear both me and Rudis?
Can you hear me?
Nova Shit 7, can you hear us?
Both
You both
sound
sound
fine.
fine to me.
Both sound fine.
Okay. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Red Shoe. Um, okay, Rudis. I guess we just gonna get started and everything. I'm gonna introduce you, okay? Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Speak Your Mind Radio. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Queen Star, aka Ms. Hip Hop. And this is episode 550. And it's very special because we went international this time. We have UK producer and creative Rudist in the building. And we're going to be talking about some of his cool collaborative projects that he's done, like the popular the All I Seer project with Emerge the MC, and also Rudis's KO Lab 1 album. Gonna be talking about that too.
I
So
got one for
guys,
that
without
as
further
well.
ado, bringing up next to the mic, the one and only Rudis.
Yes. Can you hear me? Is it
Yes,
loud and clear now?
yes.
Good.
All right, Rudis. As you know, we start off each and every interview with an icebreaker question for all the artists. So
The
let's get started.
icebreaker.
All right. What's your favorite piece of music equipment to use when you're creating your beats?
Well, I don't really have much equipment, so I like to use my own brain,
Mm.
because that's pretty much the only bit of equipment I've got. Everything else is just technical nonsense.
So, is there any type of particular program that you use,
Yes, I do use Ableton.
Ableton?
Yes. It's the only thing I know how to use. Everything else I just want to smash with a hammer. I don't know how to use it. It's just like perplexing. It's just like, I don't know how to use it. So Ableton's like everything to me. I do everything at Ableton. Um, but yeah, as far as equipment, I'm looking to upgrade all of my equipment when my studio's finished. But until then, I'm going to be just still with the basics, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Keep it
Okay,
simple. I'm happy with a simple setup and not too much equipment. It just overwhelms me. I don't really work well with all these different gizmos and stuff. It just drives me mad. Is that good?
definitely.
Is that a good answer?
It's a good
Yes.
answer. I'll accept it. Yeah.
So it's
Why
quite
don't
late here. I've had a long day and just my mood has changed about 500 times already. I've been like happy and I've been a bit like, oh, and then I don't really know what's going on right now. I'm just so happen to be live with MzHipHop right now, you
Oh,
know.
that's So kind of you.
No,
Thank you.
we've been waiting to come on do this for like a long time.
Yeah,
We
we
started
have.
speaking about this like last year sometime,
Yep.
and,
It's been a minute.
and I've been looking forward to come on and have an interview for sure. I don't
Oh, I've been.
really have any interviews, so this is a guinea pig event.
Well, I guess it'll be a guinea pig event and a good one too, because I want to give you your flowers now, Rudis. Like the projects that I've heard so far from you, they've been immaculate. Like I'm talking about the beat, and respect to the artists that work with you as well. Shout out to Emerge the MC.
For
Shout
sure.
out to Black Silk. Shout out to Mark 13. Shout out to
Mark
Fat Boy.
13. Yeah, he
What's
was the
that?
Mark 13 was the first artist I ever put a record out with.
Really?
Yeah, he's my day one.
That's dope.
He believed in me. He believed in me before anybody else, you see.
That's
He's got
beautiful.
an
And those,
initiative. He's a
yeah.
he's a Scorpio. Emerging MC is a Scorpio.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm rocking with a lot of Scorpios, and there's a lot of Scorpios in the rap business.
Yeah, that's true.
A
That
lot,
is
a lot
true.
of rappers as well. You know, I mean, obviously they've got all the signs, but loads of Scorpios in the music business.
That's true.
Mm.
Um, I know you're into like a lot of what do you call it, numerology and everything. Um,
Yeah, I'm a
like
hippie.
what ain't? Hmm.
I'm
What's
a
that?
hippie. I'm a big hippie.
Oh, you're a big hippie. Cool.
Yeah, I'm just a hippie. I mean, look at me. I brought, I cut my beard for this interview, you know, with a pair of scissors.
It's nice. Absolutely. But like I said, I know you're to like angel numbers and stuff like that. So have you been seeing any angel numbers prior to this conversation?
No, I don't do that. No,
Oh, you don't?
no, I don't do that. I look at astrology, and that's pretty much it. And then
Mm,
I have premonitions of my own to deal with. So, but yeah, it's mainly just astrology, and I'll follow like different astrologers that I trust, like good ones. And it's it's an interesting subject to me, astrology in general. Like that's one thing that I keep, every week is, it's in my life. It's not some random thing that I look at now and again. It's like, no, I follow the astrology as much as I can. And I know you're a Leo,
yeah, yeah, definitely a
and I
Leo.
got
Yeah.
a lot of Leos in my life. I got a lot of like Leos that surround me. So I've got a lot of protection and a lot of love and a lot of sincerity, and a lot of passion. So
Mm-hmm. Fire.
I'm lucky,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
very lucky.
Yes.
Hey, we got
Um,
Emerge the MC in here. We got
hey, Emerge.
Supernova. What's up, bro? I'm not even.
Supernova.
I haven't.
How you doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we're good. We
Yes.
got some good people. We're working with some good people. We got again. We finished. We were speaking about Mark 13, but you were going through the list. Who else we got? Who else we got on the
Um,
roster?
we got Fat Boy.
Yeah, Fat. He calls himself Fat now, but still known as the Fat Boy. On Insta, I think. Yeah, Fat. Me and Fat have been working a bit lately. Done a few tracks outside of the single we did for KO Lab. So yeah, that's always very rewarding work.
Yeah.
Fat is an amazing rapper. Like he's an amazing
No, he
performer as
definitely.
well. He's a real, he's a really talented performer. So I got a lot of respect for him. And his vocals and his recordings are always like really, really good to work with. And yeah, it's nice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the KO Lab one,
Knockout.
that.
Lab,
Knock,
yeah,
yeah,
KO Lab.
Knockout
KO Lab
Lab.
because it's collab, collab, KO Lab. So I thought Knockout Lab. It's like, right, we got to knock this shit out of the park now. Everybody gets one track and you've just got to do your best, you know? And we came up with 12 really solid tracks, actually. And then I did like a bit of a skit at the start, which I hate, actually. But it's on there. So I'm happy about that.
I actually liked the skit. It was
Yeah,
cool.
that's the thing. But I did it, so I hate it. Okay. Like I was the one that actually did it, and I was like, "Oh shit, I hate it." It's ruins the whole thing. But that's just me. I'm more interested in the tracks than I am in my own skit, basically.
And so what was your magical input that you put into these beats? Because the rappers that you had on the project, they killed each and every track. It's like y'all were sitting in the same studio together.
Yeah, well, that is cool. Like what you just said is really cool because it makes me think of two things. I created about 100 or more beats to send to those 12 artists, or it was 14 at one point, but a couple of people didn't end up getting on board. So I made, within the space of about 6 weeks, I probably made about 100 and something beats. Some of them are terrible. And then I started sending them out, like, oh, this one could go to Fat and this one could go to Emerged MC. And in the end, it was just like passing beats through people. Like, what do you think of this? No, I don't like it. Oh, no, I like that one. And, everybody found their like, chung, like it all, the tracks just fell into place. And yeah, like some people, I think Drosky, shout out to Drosky from Full Circle Movement. We've been working a lot over the last sort of year or so as well. I told him about the project and he recorded his track like the next day. And I
Wow.
gave myself 3 months to have all the finished tracks back. I needed all the recordings done by like January the 25th or something. And I think I got the last recordings on January the 25th. So I had this one track that was like day one, and then the whole 3 months of like, can you send me that fucking recording, please? Just like it was a lot. It was a lot, and it was a lot of like things went wrong and things weren't in sync, and like there was loads of problems that arose whilst I was making it. And I was just very grateful to work with everybody. Everybody that survived the process did so because they put in the effort
Mm-hmm.
for us to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads on to the other thing I was going to say, where to me, the ultimate thing is to work in the studio, right? And
What's that?
but I'm in the UK and I send my beats to artists.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's any amount of possibility of having that connection
Mm-hmm.
where it's like working in a studio, why wouldn't you do that? As much as is feasible, or like, I like I want to get down to things. I want to go, what if we add this bit on there? But we're dealing with 12 people at the same time. So it's like, it was a lot of communication, a lot at
Yeah.
the same time. We're like, oh yeah, but yeah, that bit over there, and then I'm on to Fat, and then I'm on to this guy, and then it was a lot. So I'm glad it's sort of done and it was a success, because I was burnt out by the end of it. I was beaten up. Like
It
I
was
was
a
like, I'm not
knockout.
making any beats now, like for like 2 years. I don't care. But I was like, I took like a week off and then I was fine.
That's good. So how do you deal with burnouts like that? Like you just take a week off and you're all good?
Who knows? I mean, I've been like, I think um, just about a week ago, I got really down. I got really like low about everything, and now I feel really good about everything. So I'm just checking my light. Beep, too light. Yeah, like I've had a million burnouts. That's the only way to do it, really. I think, you know, not like colossal burnout, not like death, but you have to burn. Like if you're not getting singed, like, you know, you're not working hard enough. Or I'm not.
Definitely.
In my process, I'm not working hard. You know, I have to burn. Like I have to burn. And there has to be steam coming off, like, you know.
So you you work under pressure good.
Yeah, I think I am, but obviously, I think everybody will, not everybody, but a lot of people would say I still don't like doing it, but it does bring the best out of you. You know, if you're able to survive the pressure, then usually something good comes out. You know, and I've been under pressure a lot of times in my career of doing art. You know, like you got some millionaire people that want something and you got to get it done by a certain day and it all goes wrong and you got to do it again, and you like, you know, it's like there's a lot of stress to it, and you've got to make it finessed, like
Definitely.
otherwise you're dead
Mm-hmm.
and you don't get paid, or you know, you look shit. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, I've dealt with like pressure throughout my career, in other things. And now mostly the pressure. This project, I wanted the pressure to be on the process. Like I wanted, I wanted, I wanted it to be. Yeah. There just had to be some pressure. Sorry, I'm going off. I'm going off. Ask me something
Well,
else, please. I don't know what I'm on about anymore.
well, you know what
I'm
they
having my.
say, pressure makes diamonds.
Woohoo! I wish.
Just so.
No, I think, you know, KO Lab has come out and it's like it is a diamond.
Mm-hmm.
It's a diamond in the rough, baby. It's like that record exists and it's just sat there like forever. It's like it's not going anywhere, and I hope that it continues to sort of serve, you know, the purpose of why it was made, to
Mm-hmm.
shed light on all of the artists that I work with, but also to sort of shed light on me in control of the record. So I'm actually, no, actually this time you don't get to call the shots. Actually, this time it's my record, you know, because somebody has to, even when you're collabing, somebody has to be sort of owning the project and releasing it, and somebody's got to take the reins. And this time it was like, I want to do it. Like, give me the chance, just give me the reins, and I'll show you where we're going. Like, you know, it was a bit like that. It's tough to explain, but basically, as a producer, I think a lot of the time, you know, you've got like all these beats, and you're sending them out, and people can just wipe the, yeah, oh yeah, that was shit, oh crap, oh I like that one, oh, and then everybody wants that one, and you know, it's sometimes you're just like, I wish I could just go, no, I'm gonna get this record. I'm choosing the record, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm choosing the. You know, it's like it's just my turn to put out a record, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
record that I wanted to make. I wanted to make it with all the artists that I collaborate with. That's what I wanted to do. So that was my, you know, thing that brings me pleasure to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm I'm very grateful to be able to do it, and I'm very relieved that I actually pulled it off, because I didn't know I didn't really know whether it would be possible. I think it's very difficult to get 12 people on board and actually stick to the end and actually get it done. It's like it doesn't always happen and it doesn't always get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not a given.
That's true. So, in how long did it take to complete the project?
Well, I started in November, about the 3rd of November, and the record had to be out on my birthday, which is 12th of March.
Mm.
So that was, give and take, it was like 5 months. And then obviously over Christmas and New Year and stuff, everything shuts down for a bit. So yeah, all in all, about 5 months, and that's quite short for a record. Some people put out records in a weekend, but a lot of the records I've ever worked on, usually it's like a year later at least before it's released.
Wow.
And it's hard to sit there and wait. Sometimes it's like, I just want it to be released so that I can stop thinking about it and people can actually listen to it. It's like, come on, just put it in the slot, just like put it in the game, like just fuck it, just put it on the fucking shelf and then do another one. But there's a time and a place for records to come out. You can't just put them all out at the same time. So luckily it fell really well. I think the weekend before, like Street the Villain put his record out like the week before, and a few other people had their birthdays that week, and lots of Pisceans as well in the game. Lots of Pisceans that I work with as well. So lots of Scorpios, lots of Pisceans, and we all had our birthdays like in the same week. So
Oh
that was pretty cool.
man, that's a big celebration.
It was. I was 39 this year.
39?
Mm.
Cool.
I'm happy with that.
You
I am
happy
happy
with
with
that
that.
number?
Yeah. Like, I'd say like my early 30s, my mid 30s were like some of the hardest years I've ever had. And now I don't feel like that anymore. I feel like I've got through a lot of struggles that I was going through. And I feel like more, together as a person. So yeah, I'm happy with my age and I'm happy with my health. As you get a little bit older, obviously I'm only 39, but as you get a bit older, you start to prioritize, hopefully, your health, and you get. I feel like I'm more in control of it, and
Most
yeah,
definitely.
I'm just
And
feeling more relaxed, and
r-
I don't need to drink all the time and all of this shit.
right.
So
Um,
yeah,
I think mental health is important to talk about, like amongst artists and producers and just everybody in general. One of the questions I wanted to ask you, Rudist, if you don't mind sharing with us, is recently I know you found out that you were diagnosed with autism, right?
yeah.
Um, Before I like really get into the question, can you give us like the backstory behind you discovering your autism?
Um, I could,
Mm.
but it's a very, very long story. It's like my whole life.
Wow.
It's like, do you want to talk about my whole life in like an hour? Because that's what I'm going to do. I'm 39 and they diagnosed me with autism, and possibly I have to be screened for ADHD as well. And like that's quite hard to have that when you're like nearly 40 years old and you've lived your life, and if, I've struggled a lot in my life. I'm not like other people. I don't think like other people. I don't want to think like other people. I don't do what anybody wants me to do. You know, I'm like defiant as hell. Like I'm what's it called? Oppositional defiance.
Hard-headed.
No, no. See, like, but yeah, like I think nowadays, like I'm doing okay, and like I don't have so many triggers and stuff. But I've had some really bad times, like in the past, and that sort of led me to be put forward for testing, to have testing. And I had to wait for like 7 years, and then things got really bad at one point, and then they referred me on this other quicker service, and then I got to actually finally have a screening, and they were just like, yeah. You know, I mean, I don't know, that's all I've got to say about it right now, really.
No,
I
thank
mean,
you
if you
for.
have any specific questions,
I
but
do.
like I think we, you know, a lot of people that I speak to are like on the spectrum, if you want to call it that, or their brother is, or their son, or whoever, their auntie, their mom, whatever. Like we're all different, and it will help me to explain to some people that just they'll never understand anyway. You know, they'll never really understand that you know people are complex, basically.
Hmm.
And one of the things that makes me good at what I do is that I am very extreme about things. Like I will obsess over something for like a long time, like beats. You know, like I've only been making beats for like 4 years.
That, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. And I never
That's
like I started using Ableton in 2019, and that's because I went to a guitar shop and I was going to get a doubler pedal so I could play guitar and then play like solos over the top, like just because I wanted to. And I ended up coming out with the Focusrite thing, and it came with Ableton Lite, and I ran Ableton Lite for 2 years on this fucked up old laptop, and I made tons of stuff on there till it just blew up. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna get like a proper computer, you know, and do this, you know, I'm just going to go crazy on this shit. And it was the pandemic. Like I started before the pandemic, but then the pandemic came, and I was just like, I just went down a rabbit hole, and I've pretty much been making beats like every single day since I started,
that's
um,
incredible.
and researching, and you know,
Mhm,
reaching out, and you know, like I just won't stop.
mhm.
Like I will not stop until I know what I'm doing.
Wow.
And that's, you know, I've done it before with my other work, my painting work and my ceramics and whatever I'm obsessed with, that's it. I'm just like, you know,
So you kind of like have tunnel vision.
yeah. But to me
Hmm.
it's just like it's just a pattern. It's just like I go through like patterns, and I am quite it's like I don't have a routine because I can't keep a routine, but I will just do the same thing over and over and over again every day. So I'll
Hmm.
just do that, and then I'll do that, and then I'll go there, and then I'll come home, and then I'll just make beats, and then I'll just do it again, and I'll do it again. Until, you know, I don't. It's I've done it. You know, I've injured myself making samples. Like I'm not, you know, like I've like nearly like dislocated my head from my shoulders, just like looking at the screen, like like trying to make a different snare, like, you know, and yeah, it's I feel like at the moment I've got to this like plateau, and where I feel like really like I've accomplished a lot of things in the last year or so, where I feel like, okay, I can make a beat. I can make a beat. I know how to make a beat. I know how to mix a record. And now I can just sort of start to enjoy it a bit more. And I can do things that I feel like have been on hold as well. And I'm going to make my studio, and I'm going to, yeah, I feel like I've achieved enough of my own benchmark to go, yeah, this is something, this is something that I can do,
Mm-hmm.
and that is working, and that's got, more to come.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. That's very interesting how your process of your mind works to be able to create these things. And I wanted to ask you, like, do you have any advice for anybody out there who is also diagnosed with autism that wants to make music as well?
Well, I mean, obviously, autism is a spectrum, so some people will just do it without, they'll just do it naturally. And I think those are the people that will just do it anyway.
Mm,
Um, I don't really know. I don't really know how autistic people want to be helped, or, I'm not. I would just talk to everybody, not autistic people. I'd just say, if somebody wanted to make music, like, they don't have to be autistic to make
yeah,
music.
yeah, you're
That's
right.
my
No,
answer.
that's
Okay.
true. Mm-hmm.
Like, just, I wish, like, I really want to work with, like, more people though, because to me, like, I think the problem with me is that I'm not very good at, like, academic stuff when it comes to music. Like, I can play music and I can learn how to play a piece of classical music, but I can't wait to discard the music. That all just annoys me, and it's all. And but I like to teach, so I really want to work with artists, and I'm not just talking about hip hop. I want to talk. I want to work with artists that want somebody to help them to progress. Um, they could be a drummer or they could be a guitarist, and I'm not going to be the one that comes in and says, "Oh, we're going to learn this bit of academic, music on the paper." To me, it's that is very important. If you can do that, like, you're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's like attitude, and it's. I was speaking to a friend about it earlier. It's like your attitude and your, like, resolve. Can you actually finish what you started? And when you do, what are you going to do next? How
Mm-hmm.
are you going to keep notching it up, like put in that little like chipping away? To me, it's like I've always said, it's like a sculpture. Like, your craft or your life is like a sculpture, and you're just chipping away very, very slowly for that masterpiece. And some people have just got that like sort of bent. They really want something to be like fine, but also to have somewhere a sublime level. I'm not saying that
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do myself. I feel like I'm incapable of getting there myself. That's sometimes what leads to you wanting to be a teacher, because there's people out there that are so talented. They're actually really talented, but they might be a little bit unfocused, or they might not have heard this beautiful piece of music that I've heard, or I've spoken to like cello students, and I'm just like, well, what have you ever listened to, like, Dvorak? And they're like, who's that? And I'm like, well, he's a Czech Czechoslovakian composer, you know, that like did cello concertos, and they're absolutely beautiful, and they've never even heard of it, but they learn cello, and I'm like, well, we need to listen to that shit, you know, we need to listen to that record like right now, and it's, I don't know, that's the best I can do right now, is to explain it. But to me, it's about real life and real attitude and real detail. If somebody's playing a snare drum, we'll be like, what does it sound like there? What does it sound like there? What does it sound like there? What does it sound like with 5 microphones? What does it sound like when, you know, like I will pick this shit apart until something happens.
Yeah.
Until something
Like a
goes
spark.
bam like that, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, yes. And
Mm-hmm.
it like nuance, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
difference, magic.
Yep.
And it's like when you're just on your own all the time, like I'm on my own a lot, you don't get to collaborate on these like little things. But that's just me, like that's just what I'm like. I can't help it. It's
No, that's
interesting to me. I think that's, you know, possibly how musicians have always been, you know.
mm-hmm.
You sit around in a circle, you're like, oh, have you heard what happens when you do this? And you're like, what? You know, like, what the fuck was that? And then you learn it, and then you teach it to someone else, and they like bend it, and you're like, you fucker, like, you know, like it's just, music is a language, isn't it? And you can tell a story with sound, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like you could just, but you could only have like one drum, and that's all you've got, and you have to do everything on that. You have to do everything on one drum, and what are you gonna do? Like, go. What are you gonna do? Show me something creative, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like that.
That's cool. It seems like you work with what you have and you don't complain about it. Like you said, if you're working with one drum, what are you going to do? Make the same beat? No, you're going to intensify it and cut that thing as many ways as possible, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Like, and that's the other thing for me. Like, I always see like, I don't, I know there's a road ahead. I don't even think about the road ahead, but I know it's coming. I know that we're just going to keep going into the future, right?
Yeah.
But I want to focus on the potential of the moment, and just keep soaking it up, and just keep soaking it up. Like, and I started playing drums when I was about 8 years old. My father's a drummer,
Hmm.
and I wanted to be my father, and I wanted to play drums, and that was my dream, to be a drummer. So I spent a lot of time behind a drum kit, fucking around and playing around and trying to tune drums and trying to make snares sound good. And, you know, like, it's a whole world. Once you get behind that kit, it's like, I feel like I'm octopus. I'm like an octopus. Like, and if I'm on a piano, I'm like an octopus. It's like you sit in there in that space, and it becomes like, it's like a time portal.
Hmm.
It's like a you're in a command. You're in a commander like chair, like a spaceship into
Hmm.
the cosmos. Like, and
Hmm.
you press this button, and you're like, oh, that fucking didn't work. Shit. Like, fuck. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I feel. Like when I'm behind a drum kit, I just feel like, poof, like I'm in this zone, and there's these things I can hit. You know, like, and what am I going to do? And it just feels really like I'm held. You know, I feel like I'm really held in that space, in that creative space. And the same with piano. I don't even have to play it. I can just feel it.
Hmm.
Sometimes I just want to feel it. And
And when you're in that commander seat, in that trance, as you say, how do you know, like, when a beat is done? Like, in your personal opinion as a producer?
yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind, because I think with me, like I'll just start making a beat, and sometimes like 20 minutes later it's done, and sometimes a little bit longer.
Mm.
Some beats have taken a long time, but I think when you just get that little feeling, you get that little boom on your shoulder, and you're just like, yeah, like, or you start nodding your head, or you're just like, man, this is a vibe, like, this is a fucking vibe right here. And then it's done, do another one.
Okay. Um, that brings me to your single that you just presented to everywhere, and that's Beauty. That's one of my favorite tracks, one of my favorite pieces of music that you have composed, one of them. And
Thank you.
you're very welcome. I don't want to be redundant here and say it's beautiful, but it is though. It captured my heart because the beat itself, it changed like so many different variations, like from the beginning to the end. And I'm like, I know I can't just stop in the middle of this beat because there's more to come. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah. I've listened to that track so many times, obviously,
Mm,
because I made it. But when I first listened to it, when it came out, like, I listened to it on streaming, and I got a little bit lost in the middle. I was like, you loser. Like, why do you keep doing this to yourself? But then that last bit comes in, that last section, and it's like, yeah, that was what that whole beat was about. That
mhm,
was the first loop that I made.
mm,
But it was almost like too basic. So then I think I made like different versions of it. And I do like to like present things, even if I put out a single, I'm still presenting it as a instrumental possible. You could chop that section out of it and use it, or you could have the end bit or whatever. Like, it's just all there, and I put it in a sequence, and it's like variations on a theme. And it's a little bit blocky at times, but that last bit, it just, I don't know, that bit where it
mhm,
fades out at the end, and it's
mhm,
just like, yeah,
mhm.
yeah, it makes you feel like something nice. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, that's good enough. That's it. It made me feel kind of good there. And I'm for me, I'm struggling to make something that I'm like really happy with all the time. I'm very dissatisfied with what I do,
Mm,
and that has to, I have to be, because otherwise I wouldn't keep going. I need
mhm,
to just, I want to make something that's just so undeniably good that
mhm.
even I like it. It's it's just like, it drives me crazy. It really does. I'm trying. I'm not. I don't want to sound negative, but that is my reality. Is when I listen to my own shit, I'm just like, that is not good enough yet. I haven't done what I want to do, or yeah. So I feel like going back to earlier, actually, where I'm at is this like new plateau, and wherever I go from here is is up to me.
Mm.
And I feel like I can actually start to relax a bit, and I can be a little bit like, no, actually, I'm going to remix that record that I want to remix today. I'm not going to just feel like I have to make 100 beats and get people to work with me and stuff like that, because I've already got a lot of EPs in the mix. Um, we're already working. I think pretty much all the artists that are on KO Lab 1, we've got a record in the cut or an EP in the cut. It's like, it's a lot of records
Mhm.
and a lot of mixing and a lot of communications, and you know it's hard to keep up with everything.
Well, um, I don't want to like just give you like compliments and stuff like that because you are a hard worker. But I'll tell you one thing: you all need to know that you're doing a damn good job. Like especially like I said, with what we go through mentally, physically, and emotionally. Shit, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the most talented people, as you say, are underground. Like I would have never met you if it wasn't for like social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it is we we have to take it for granted because we're all here, but yeah, this is a completely new time, you know, for collaborations. And you know, I couldn't have been a producer like this when I was younger. It just wouldn't have happened because I come from a really rural place, and I just wasn't living that life at all. Like I was just living a very local life, and you know, like a medieval person, listening to Wu-Tang, you know, in my studio or whatever. And I didn't know any rappers, and I didn't know any MzHipHops, and I didn't know, you know, I didn't know how to make beats. So it's like I've had my whole life up until, you know, my mid 30s to live a different life. You know, I wanted to do music recording when I was young, and I was in bands and I played in music, and I've always played music, but never made beats and been a producer. Like that's something that I've only done in the last 5 years. So I'm happy with that. I'm very, very happy with that. That I can bring all of that experience that I have, and like it just all goes through it all goes through anything that I do is all from the same place. It's
Yeah.
all the same energy. It's all the same, you know,
Mm-hmm.
mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
Like and it's I know how hard it can be to produce something of note, of quality. So when you think you're there, you're not there. You're
Mm-mm.
not there, man. Like you were there, and now you're going a bit further, and you know, like the sky's the limit. Like until you smash through the air, and you're just like, I don't give a fuck. You know, you know, I'm in the universe right now, and there's just no boundaries. But there is no boundaries. But sometimes you have to put in boundaries. Like this project, there was a timeline, there was a deadline. All the tracks had to be done by this day, you know, and you put in these barriers, and then you funnel the energy through like a river, like a, you know, that's the way I see it. It's like a river, and it starts off with a little trickle at the top, and then it's going through the canyons, and then you're like, you know, you're trying to control this force, you know, you're trying to
Definitely.
control the energy of life.
Mm-hmm.
um and the energy of music, and the energy of the process, and all the crap that comes with it. It's like, no, we're going down the fucking chute together, and it's all gonna come down, and it's all gonna end up in the same place. But you just have to keep navigating through and putting it. You know, if you feel like it's gonna go wrong over there, we'll put something in place. I'm going off the charts now.
No, I totally get what you're saying about
Yeah,
the everything you've ever gone through in your entire life stems from that energy of you loving music. I mean, every single thing that you've gone through has led you right here to this point,
yeah.
and
I
you.
it's mad. Sorry, but like I will tell you a story, right?
Mhm.
It's like I just I'm just transported to my bedroom when I was like 8 years old, and I'm kneeling on the floor, and I've got tapes, and I've got a little tape recorder. I've got my stack and my deck. I've got my deck, and you know, it's like the tapes with the CD changer. Or did it even have a CD changer? I can't even remember. Secondhand, beaten up shit with my
Mhm.
drum kit. I had a drum kit in my bedroom, and I had all these tapes that my dad made for me mostly. Um, and I got really into like heavy metal. Like when I was about 8 years old, I was listening to heavy metal. Before that, I had Nirvana, in Utero, and Bleach. Was it called? Yeah, yeah. I had that on tape when I was about 8. Beastie Boys, Red Hot Chili Peppers, um, even like an album that I still love is the Weezer album,
Mhm.
the Weezer, the blue one. That shit rocks, man. Like when you're a kid and you hear that, and it's just like the the reverberation of that record, just like it just fills your cells up with like. And when you're a kid, it's just like fuck, like this shit is amazing, and I'm just transported back to that place like every day. I'm still I'm not still that kid, but like that kid still exists in that room, like with those tapes and my drum kit. And I wanted to be the drummer from fucking, I wanted to be Dave Grohl or something, you know, from Foo Fighters.
Mhm.
I have
Mhm.
Foo Fighters on, you know, Foo Fighters when they came in, listening to that when you were a kid and just being like, this is fucking amazing. Like, it's
Mhm.
just, and I think that I've always just felt it, you know, like if it sort of like penetrates the sphere and it like gets to the cellular level and it gets to my like heart or my soul or whatever, and I can feel it, then I'm just like in my happy place there. I'm just really in my happy place. And I hear music, I hear sequences, you know, I just feel comfortable with music. Like if I, like I said earlier, if I sit in a drum kit, I'm just in this. I'm not on a drum kit. I'm in an environment which I feel is like compatible with myself,
Mhm.
and that is a very. I think it's just a very unique like feeling, and you
Yeah.
you know that that's the place you're supposed to be in.
Mhm.
That's all I can say is that is how I experience it. Is like, yeah, this is where I'm at. This is what life is to me, and this is my skill because I can translate this through myself, and I know why I've got to do it or something.
That is that was a beautiful, beautiful explanation. Like
I can't
seriously.
explain it. You can't. That's the whole point. So you need the music because music is a language and
Yeah.
it's an energy,
Mhm.
and it, you know, you're feeling the energy not just of the music but of the people that make it.
Mhm.
um and that's the other thing, actually, like if I can explain it, the one thing that I've really come to through doing all this music is just through looking at those waves, the waveforms, like a
Mhm.
million times, and thinking about the universe and thinking about what energy is, and how material life is formed from energy, which is a frequency. And then you start to go into like, yeah, everything's a frequency, and you know, you everything is energy basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Everything is energy.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And
um,
like you said, music is a language that everybody can understand.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
And Rudis, with that being said, I just want to thank you for coming on today's show and speaking your mind with our audience. This will be televised on YouTube and Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Apple Music, and the list goes on.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. Well, it was a pleasure to speak to you,
it was my
and
pleasure speaking to you as well.
we're gonna do some more work together anyway.
I would love to.
Yeah, we're gonna chat, and we you know, we already chat anyway, and yeah, I'm very grateful to you for like the work that you do, and giving people this platform. I really want people to like book a session with MzHipHop, like, you know, like um it's like, don't take it for granted, because we need people like MzHipHop, we need people like you, Nicole, to like give the artists a platform, and like not just once but like have people back and being like, what's, you know, like we need to chat about this, and we need to make it known and make this community like solid, you know.
Thank
and
you.
there's more artists than there are people doing interviews. We need good interviews. We need real talk. You know, like we need to just have a great platform like you've got, but just make it keep going. You know, I just want you to keep going and like make it more known and make, you know, like that's all I want is for more people to engage and more people to like get involved. So it's like you're really in your position that you want to be in.
Thank you,
And
Rudist.
yeah, that's what what I've been saying anyway, but it's difficult to explain. But yeah,
Don't make me laugh.
I thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, Rudist.
Yeah.
I appreciate your
Go and check out
kind
KO
words.
Lab.
Huh?
KO Lab number
Knockout
one.
Lab 1.
And all I see her. All I
Oh,
see
I
it.
see ya.
Yeah, we
Come
didn't
on
speak
now.
about
Come
any of
on.
the artists that I work with, MzHipHop.
You said what?
Why did we do that? We're gonna have to do another one now.
We can. We can do another one. You know that.
But this
You
is the
all you
problem.
already
Like
know
I
that.
just talk about other stuff and then I forget what I'm doing. Go and
But you know,
check out KO Lab. It's got everyone on it.
yeah,
Just listen to it for God's sake, please. Lots of love.
definitely.
Good night.
Good night. Much love. Bye.
Bye.